Hello, welcome to the moment of transformation. If you found yourself here, it is not a coincidence. Something important is already forming in your reality, and this video is exactly what you need to hear right now. But before we begin, take one small action. Click like and subscribe so you don't miss the energetic shift that will soon appear in your life. Believe me, this is something you don't want to overlook. Now allow yourself to step into a new chapter. Write in the comments, "I accept my destiny," because that is exactly what you are doing by being here. Let's begin and uncover the power that already lives within you. Before something significant happens in life, whether it's winning the lottery, an unexpected opportunity, or a complete turn of fate, a certain feeling often appears. It is quiet, subtle, without bright signs or loud warnings. Most people walk past it without noticing, but those who do begin to see a pattern. Before the incredible arrives, there is often a pause, a deep, unexplainable calm. It is the peace after chaos, the silence before something new is created. On the outside, everything looks the same, but inside, there is a sense that something has shifted. The worries that once felt heavy become lighter, almost disappear. A sense of trust appears from nowhere. This is not fantasy. This is alignment. Spiritual teachers and energy experts have spoken about this quiet shift for a long time. Dr. Dispenza emphasizes the importance of thinking beyond your familiar environment and behaving as if your desired future has already arrived. This is not just dreaming, it is the intersection of science and energy. He teaches that true transformation begins when a person stops reacting to the present and starts creating from a new emotional state. This is the moment the journey into the unknown begins. And this is when events unfold in unexpected ways, often without warning. Think of people who imagine a life of abundance, not begging for it, not clinging to it, but living in a state of calm and inner certainty. Their outer life may look ordinary or even boring, but their inner world is already different. They stopped chasing and began embodying. And this is usually when the shift happens. Those who suddenly received luck, money, love, success, clarity, often describe the same sensations beforehand. They weren't panicking, they weren't desperate, they were in acceptance. They didn't have to pretend. They genuinely became the kind of person who no longer needed to convince themselves. This emotional shift changes everything. Imagine your life as a radio receiver. If you stay tuned to the frequency of fear, doubt, or anxiety, you continue to pick up signals that match those vibrations. But when you switch to the frequency of peace, gratitude, and abundance, you begin to hear a completely different melody. This transition is not achieved by force, it is born from awareness. That is why the strange calm, the inner stillness, is often the first sign that you have synchronized with something greater. It may seem like nothing is happening, like you are not moving forward, but behind the scenes, a recalibration is taking place. You are becoming the version of yourself that matches the result you desire. And this is not theory, it shows up in real life. There are countless stories of people who experienced sudden breakthroughs after a period of silence. A woman who lost her job spent weeks simply walking, journaling, sitting in quiet. No plans, no interviews. Suddenly, an old acquaintance wrote to her and offered the highest-paying job of her life. She didn't chase, she allowed. Another man, exhausted by debt, stopped fighting. He released control, breathed deeper, lived calmer. 2 months later, a forgotten property skyrocketed in value. He sold it and started over. These stories are far more common than people think. They're just rarely talked about. Few know about the calm before success, but it exists. If you are feeling this pause now, this unexplainable inner quiet, do not ignore it. The world is rearranging itself behind the scenes. Life is making space for a major breakthrough. There is a phrase by Dr. Joe Dispenza that captures this perfectly. Your personality creates your personal reality. If you want a new reality, become a new version of yourself. This is not about abandoning your essence. It is about releasing old patterns. It is about behaving, thinking, and feeling like someone who has already achieved the desired outcome, not someone who is still chasing it. This emotional shift is the key. Imagine someone dreaming of great success, material, spiritual, or emotional. If their energy is rooted in lack, they continue to attract lack. But when they begin to feel like someone who already possesses what they desire, their frequency changes. And with the frequency, life changes too. The feeling of, "I already have it," is incredibly powerful. It tells the world, "I am ready," not just with words, but with my state. Many people believe that before something big happens, there will be chaos or tension. But in reality, it is often the opposite. Before the jackpot arrives, there comes a surprising silence. It is not a loud call. It is a soft inner whisper. It is the moment when you stop trying and begin allowing. This is why it is so important to value this quiet phase. Stillness is not inactivity. Silence is not failure. It is preparation. Imagine a slingshot. The farther it is pulled back, the more powerful the release. If it feels like life is holding you back, perhaps you are being prepared for acceleration. Here, trust is essential. Trust is not passivity, it is strength. It tells the universe, "I don't need proof right now. I know change is coming. I can feel it." Such energy attracts opportunities in ways that cannot be explained logically. Signs surround you if you know how to notice them. A sense of detachment from old worries, a desire to organize your space, thoughts, relationships, a pull towards simplicity and quiet. These are energetic shifts that appear before an important stage. Sometimes repeating numbers show up, 111, 333. Sometimes there is an inner knowing that something is about to happen. This is not coincidence, it is a reflection of your inner alignment. But the main sign is peace. The peace that comes not after achieving the goal, but before it. The awareness that you are already moving correctly. This peace brings not only money, but love, clarity, and meaning. Most often, everything begins with an unusual feeling of inner readiness, as if your soul already knows what your mind cannot yet see. Many call this spiritual cleansing. Your inner space begins to clear itself. You feel the urge to simplify your life, reset, release everything that no longer resonates with your state. Not because life is slowing down, but because it is preparing to accelerate in the direction you've long desired. The truth is, external changes will not come until there is space for them inside. This is how the process works. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains it beautifully. Your personality creates your personal reality. He means that the thoughts you repeat, the emotions you hold, and the actions you take build your life day by day, layer by layer. If you want a different result, you must become the person who naturally lives in that new reality. So when you feel the desire to change your rhythm, rethink your mindset, or release old emotional weight, this is not just self-improvement. This is preparation on a deeper level. And even more importantly, before significant events, many people feel a soft inner calm that is difficult to explain logically. It is not a loud, perfect peace. It is a quiet understanding, as if something inside you has stopped resisting. You no longer chase your goal out of desperation. You simply accept it as a fact. You begin to live as if it is already part of your reality, even if nothing external points to it yet. This is one of the clearest signs that change is near. You stop hunting for what you want and begin embodying it. You express the version of yourself who already has the result, not pretending, not acting, but genuinely feeling with every cell that it has already happened. And then small signals appear in your life, not big victories yet, but subtle synchronicities, repeating numbers, unexpected sparks of inspiration, conversations that arrive at the perfect moment. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations, gentle signs that your inner clarity is beginning to match the energy of the life you asked for. The most surprising thing is that most people miss this stage because it doesn't look impressive. It feels quiet, calm, even a bit boring. But this silence is sacred. It is the moment when the old you dissolves and the new one spreads its wings. You've probably heard the phrase, "It's always darkest before dawn." This is not just poetic, it is deeply true. Because before major changes, the universe often invites you to pause, slow down, listen to your inner voice, and sometimes simply wait. This state between who you were and who you are becoming holds immense power. Joe Dispenza often speaks about this space. He teaches that if you can remain emotionally connected to your vision even when it seems like nothing is happening, you shorten the time of its manifestation. He writes, "The moment you begin to feel wealthy and worthy, you create wealth. The moment you feel powerful, you begin moving toward your dream." So if you are experiencing a period where everything seems to slow down, you're organizing your life, revisiting your goals, healing the past, and feeling more peace than usual, this is not a delay. This is a necessary stage, a divine calibration. This is what happens right before the miracle appears. Yes, doubts may remain. That is natural. You may feel fear or think, "What if I'm wrong?" But this is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that you are alive. Your task is not to be absolutely fearless, but to keep choosing your vision even when you feel uncertainty inside. Because right before the biggest breakthrough, there always comes a test of maturity. Not an exam you must pass perfectly, but a test of trust. The universe wants to understand whether you can receive without desperate control, whether you can allow instead of cling, whether you are ready to walk as if the result is already yours before it appears physically. And when you do this, when you release the old storyline, stop forcing events, and truly trust the path, everything changes, not only on the outside, but within you as well. So if you feel the urge to simplify your life, if sudden clarity finds you, if small things bring joy again, don't dismiss it. This is a sign. The jackpot doesn't always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it appears as a clean room, a deep breath, or the realization that you no longer need to chase. Everything is already moving, and you are already preparing space for it. This is the moment when everything begins to fall into place. A gentle rising, a quiet alignment, a sacred pause. Accept it. Stay in it. Keep showing up in your life, because the version of you who already has everything you dream of is not a fantasy. It is closer than it seems, and you are already becoming that version. You may start noticing things that once passed by unnoticed. vivid dreams, waking up at night for no reason, sudden understanding of other people's emotions. This is not coincidence. This is the universe tuning you to a higher vibration. Your perception is being recalibrated because an important moment is approaching. Something has come into resonance. And right before this transition, life becomes more saturated. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because your consciousness is expanding. You begin to feel deeper, understand wider, notice sharper. This time requires attention not only to external events, but to internal changes. Notice how your thoughts transform, how things that once felt complicated become clear, how opportunities that once seemed attractive no longer resonate. This is clarity. This is alignment. What you are feeling now, quiet impulses, gentle nudges, calm confidence, sparks of awareness, is your inner navigation. These signs may seem small, but they carry enormous power. This is how inner coherence begins. It is not a loud call from the heavens, but a barely audible whisper within. The mind may ignore it, but the body feels it. Listen to your sensations, the peace in your chest, the stillness in your belly, the soft smile that appears on its own. This is reality. This is what leads you forward. And the essence is not just positive thinking. The essence is deep presence. When life feels heavy and moving, it's easy to fall into anxiety. But it is in these moments that faith holds the greatest power. Not only faith in something greater, but faith in yourself. That quiet voice whispering, "Keep going." It knows the way. Joe Dispenza explains how thoughts become reality not only in theory. Every time a person combines a thought with a strong emotion, they send out an energetic signal. This signal enters the quantum field and begins attracting corresponding events. This is not just intention. This is a process. It is about tuning into the energy of what you desire before it arrives. This is how the future is created, not through force, but through frequency. So instead of trying to force a result, it is better to tune in to harmony. This does not mean inaction. It means acting when it feels right, resting when you feel complete, moving when inspiration comes, speaking honestly, taking steps from calm confidence, not from fear. When life is preparing to give someone everything they asked for, it often feels like nothing is happening. This is the test. Can your energy remain steady? Can trust be stronger than doubt? This is where many give up, right before the change. But the truth is, between cause and effect, there is always a gap. A seed doesn't sprout the day it is planted, and the fact that the result is not visible doesn't mean the energy isn't working. When everything is quiet, when the doors appear closed, this is often the moment right before they open. This is how the universe checks readiness. Will the person continue to believe, continue to show up, continue to choose peace over panic? This is the key. Life always responds to energy, and energy is always honest. If a person walks through the world with a sense of sufficiency, worthiness, and wholeness, life reflects that, not out of pride, but out of inner truth. This energy doesn't chase, it attracts. It doesn't push, it flows. So ask yourself, what vibration am I radiating today? Is it calm, grateful, steady? Because these quiet, consistent frequencies create the reality that becomes yours. Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that when a person begins to live their future in advance, thinking, acting, and feeling as if the desired outcome has already manifested, reality gradually reorganizes itself around that inner position. This is how old ideas about timing dissolve, and how dreams manifest faster. This is not an exception, it is a pattern. Even if it seems like nothing is moving externally, massive processes are happening beneath the surface. Every pause, every moment of awareness, every attempt to choose a new reaction instead of an old one is movement forward. It is change. It is expansion of consciousness. People often think growth is intense activity, but sometimes it appears as stillness, as silence, as inner peace. This is why periods of calm are so significant. They are not empty, they are full. In them, new ideas are born, beliefs are restructured, old programs dissolve, and space opens for what is trying to enter your life. Now is not the time to doubt your worth. Now is the time to remember it. Because when your inner reality reorganizes, the outer inevitably follows. And yes, not everyone will understand your transformation immediately. Some will only see it when it fully blooms. This is natural. Your path is not about proving anything. It is about inner coherence, about allowing yourself to be yourself. These relationships, this new career chapter, this sense of abundance, they are not meant to impress anyone. They are meant to match your soul. All of this arrives not when you chase the result, but when you stand firmly in your state and know you are worthy of it. Not through struggle, but through harmony. When you stop asking and start believing, everything begins to shift. When the energy inside says, "I already am," the world responds, "Then take it." This is what the moment looks like right before the jackpot enters your life. The old naturally falls away, the noise becomes quieter, everything becomes clearer, and in that clarity, something new begins to form. A life that fits you, a love that feels like home, opportunities that don't drain you, they nourish you. So breathe deeper, release the tension, and allow the process to unfold at its own pace. It is already happening. And when the result appears, it won't feel foreign. It will feel like a memory of something that belonged to you all along. Keep tuning in, keep aligning, keep moving forward. You are much closer than you think. Sometimes before big changes, there comes a strange, almost dense silence. Not sharp, not dramatic, just a subtle sense of shift, even if everything looks the same on the outside. This state often precedes the leap. Many believe the jackpot, love, success, inner peace, purpose, arrives like fireworks, but more often it appears quietly, a gentle pause, a breath before new doors open, a subtle inner impulse whispering, "Be ready." The universe does not respond to pressure, it responds to coherence. Events do not align in your favor when you chase, demand, or beg. Everything begins to change when you allow, when you prepare calmly, when you trust instead of control. Dr. Dispenza emphasizes again and again, when the inner world changes, the outer world changes automatically. When thoughts and feelings move in unison, life begins to unfold in extraordinary ways. And it begins not with plans or to-do lists. It begins with a feeling, a soft but steady knowing something is truly moving, even if my eyes can't see it yet. This is not fantasy. This is an inner signal. When a person stops counting minutes and hours and begins living as if the desired outcome is already happening, they change their vibration. They stop asking when and begin preparing as if already. And then reality begins to shift, quietly, gradually, but powerfully. Dr. Dispenza often says that the body cannot distinguish a real event from a vividly experienced imagined one. When you feel the emotions of the life you want before it arrives, you begin to live in it, and the world simply catches up. The jackpot doesn't come to fix you, it comes because you have become the person capable of holding it. This is the true transformation. This is the real victory. So if you are feeling this quiet, strange pause, don't dismiss it. It is not emptiness, it is a sign. Energy is aligning, The door is slowly opening, and what is approaching exceeds your expectations. If this message resonated with your heart, leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss new insights. We are walking this path together, and sharing states helps everyone. Now I'm curious to hear from you. Have you ever felt this silence before a change? What was the most powerful shift in your life that happened when you stopped chasing and allowed events to come on their own? Share in the comments. Let's talk about it. And remember, the best is still ahead. Keep believing and keep tuning in.